is the story of electricity. Electricity, with all its magic power, has become so much a part of our daily life that little thought is given to the origin and development of this great force, which has made our work easier and life more pleasant. So many men have contributed to the advancement of electricity. We shall only present those whose discoveries make it easy for us to understand the development of this great power. To know the amazing story of electricity, we must take you back about 2,500 years. This is ancient Greece in the year 600 BC. A Greek philosopher by the name of Thales happened one day to find a little piece of amber. He brushes the dust from it. A tiny straw clings to the stone. Thinking nothing unusual, he again rubs it across his sleeve. His beard is attracted to the amber.
Shades of Zeus.
This is no coincidence, reasons Thales. So he rubs the amber again and experiments further. Now he is convinced that some magic power within this little piece of amber has the ability to attract light objects. And right he was, because rubbing causes friction, and friction produces heat, which in turn creates energy. So in the year 600 BC, we got our first introduction to electrical energy, or ready kilowatt, and electronics. Electron is a Greek word meaning amber. By giving public demonstrations, Thales hoped to arouse interest in the magic power of the amber.
Very interesting, don't you think?
Ain't you a little old to be playing with feathers?
Discouraged over lack of public interest, Thales tossed the amber away. Since the beginning of time, Ready Kilowatt has been trying to get someone to discover him and put his magic power to work. But no one was interested.
Well, I suppose it's no use.
So, for nearly 2,000 years, Ready Kilowatt remained undisturbed, and the story of the amber was forgotten. It was not until the 16th century that an Englishman by the name of Dr. William Gilbert read the story of the amber. He tries Thales' experiment, and Ready Kilowatt is awakened from his long slumber.
Very interesting. Dost thou not think?
Methinks just screwy.
Nevertheless, to Dr. Gilbert goes the credit for reviving interest in Thales' experiment. The next important discovery was made in the year 1660 at Magdeburg, Germany. This strange-looking contraption invented by Otto von Guericke produced the first electric spark. This machine consisted of a ball of sulfur mounted on an axis. A thread was suspended above the ball. A cloth was then held against the sulfur, and when set in motion, electric sparks were produced for the first time. Well, look who's turning the crank. What do you think of Otto's invention?
I think it's silly.
Yes, most people did think the idea silly. But progress continued, thanks to a few men like Stephen Gray, who in the year 1729 discovered that certain materials were good conductors of electricity. He proved this with a thread 800 feet long, which was suspended from the ceiling through silk loops. By means of friction, he electrifies a glass rod and touches it to the end of the thread. Then he runs quickly across the room and holds a piece of paper to the opposite end of the thread.
Nice going, Steve. You're on the right track.
Look, the current has flowed through the thread.
So what? Look what I can do with a thread.
This is Leiden, Holland, in the year 1745. It was here that Professor Mischenbroek developed a means of storing electricity. The professor filled a glass jar with water. Then, with the aid of a friction machine to furnish the necessary spark, he found that water could be electrified. The glass prevented ready kilowatt, or electric energy, from escaping. When a number of these Leiden jars were grouped together, a considerable amount of electricity was accumulated, as was demonstrated to the King of France. This, no doubt, was the origin of the hot foot.
By now, scientists throughout Europe were making tests and studying electricity. While over in America, that great statesman and scientist, Benjamin Franklin, reasoned that electricity by friction and electricity by lightning were the same. He proved this by his famous kite experiment in 1752.
Congratulations, Ben. My name is Ready Kilowatt. You'd be surprised at all I've got and all the things that I will do if put to work by men like you. So long. I'll be seeing you.
Look, this kite has proven my theory.
Anybody can fly a kite.
Yes, perhaps anyone can fly a kite. But it took the brains of that great Englishman, Michael Faraday, to discover that an electric current can be continuous. He proved this with a copper disc mounted on a shaft. The disc was then placed between the two poles of a horseshoe magnet. A wire was attached to the shaft. Another wire touched the edge of the disc. When the disc rotated, a constant current was generated. And from this simple device of Faraday's, in 1831, developed this present-day generator. By this time, scientists were beginning to apply Ready Kilowatt to practical inventions. The most important of these were the telegraph, invented by Samuel Morse in 1837, the telephone by Alexander Bell in 1876, and the arc light by Charles Brush in 1879. Perhaps the greatest single achievement was made by Thomas Edison in 1879, when he developed the first successful light bulb.
Congratulations, Mr. Edison. You've made it possible for me to light up the world. And this is only the beginning.
It was Edison who started the electric light and power industry when he built the first small power station in New York City in 1882. Similar plants began to spring up throughout the United States and other countries. And today, there are thousands of these tremendous plants generating electricity. In order to obtain sufficient energy to operate the huge generators, water power is used where available. Some plants use oil or gas. But most power plants depend on coal to supply the necessary energy. From these huge plants, a constant supply of electric energy, or Ready Kilowatt, your electric servant, travels with the speed of light, 186,000 miles per second over these high voltage wires, to transformers, where the voltage is lowered to the necessary level to make Ready Kilowatt the right size for the jobs to be done. In busy industrial plants, stores and office buildings, chores on the modern farm, and to supply millions of homes with that most powerful, reliable, and cheapest of all servants, Ready Kilowatt.
I'm a real live wire, and I never tire. Yes, sir, I'm a red-hot shot. I can cook your meals, turn the factory wheels, 'cause I'm Ready Kilowatt. When you toast your toast, or you roast a roast, it is I who makes them hot. I can freeze ice cream, make a light glow beam, 'cause I'm ready kilowatts. I'm the little man who's always there. I'm a powerful high voltage guy. I'm so full of spark I can light up the dark. And you should see me with my electric eye. I can wash your clothes, play your radios. I can heat your coffee pots. I am always there with lots of power to spare, 'cause I'm ready kilowatts.
This piece of amber has great possibilities.
Say, you know what? You've discovered electricity.
Yeah?
Yeah. Congratulations.